Listen how in sync they are. And there's more than that. Like, this is I can't find all the older videos. There's like 4 times that amount. This is Conan talking about the same-sex issue, Conan O'Brien, showing that everyone agrees. But it's not just like everyone's talking about, oh, this is a sign of fake news. Does it matter who owns the media? And it's like literally the same people own the other media, telling you doesn't matter, and they're working for Trump or something. And that's not even the important thing. The important thing is that these are bots. These aren't real people. Their voices are in sync and unison. They're not in control of their own brains. They can't do this stuff on their own. They can't. They're not trained to do this. News people aren't trained to say something in unison and sync with 10 million other people. That's like when I was at that rest stop in California and I was running around asking everyone what's going on. And then all of a sudden, everyone, like all the visitors at the rest stop, all lined up in groups of 6 with one person taking a photo in the same positions and stuff, pretty much. And I showed the video of that. Like, that's not humans. That's not how humans work. I don't just be like, hey, what's going on? And all the humans line up and dance like puppets and stuff. And, so that's part of that. But this right here, what they're doing with the bots is, each one of them obviously, like, is given, like, a slightly different, standardized. When you talk to someone, they have a slightly different higher tone or pitch. And they have different cadences when they talk. And right here, they're not even altering the cadence, so it all syncs together and stuff. Generally, people will have their own cadence when they speak. Not necessarily their own. There's about 7. There's there's like, 2, 3, there's like 3 tones. There's like a midline, a bass, and a treble. And, just if you got an audio board, you just change it. And all of a sudden, you can change one of these voices to sound like someone else and stuff. It's how they're making music, too. And music's not, like when I ask for stuff and it's being auto-generated right away, sometimes I can tell, like, oh, they're using the same voice print they used on this person and stuff. Like the lead singer of Death Angel right now sounds like Tom Araya. And so Kerry King sounds like Slayer, and it's the same voice print being used there. They've like touched the tone just a bit, but it's the same voice print and cadence pretty much. And this is like solid proof this happened. Just like my video when I'm outside and like 100 people all line up in sync doing the same thing. And it's not like there's an event organized that says everyone line up. It just, I ask what's going on and bow. Whatever's operating them lines them all up and shows me that they're in sync and that they're like puppets on a stage. Pretty much the answer to the question I was asking, what's going on? They're puppets on a stage. Now, is it an actual stage? Is it just like a digital, like, run a virtual chamber, we got a virtual headset on? Most likely. This will be a very expensive Earth to create, where we actually create, 10 billion bots, like obviously all these newscasters are bots, because you can't do that unless something else is controlling your brain. Unless you're going to argue that really the drugs and the mind control that the people, the humans worship, the race the humans worship, unless you're going to argue that is controlling them and making them do that. I mean, why are you worshiping them in the first place? You get what I'm saying? It's like, they're being told to do these things by something that's not seen. And I really doubt, I'm on the earth with a group of people and we're the only living beings here, and they just happen to choose fucking pedophilia and terrorism because they know it's a fake world, so they just don't care. I mean, technically, kind of doesn't matter once you see this. Once you see these people as are bots, you realize like bots have no rights, but yet somehow these things have rights. Yet they're not living beings. They're syncing in cadence, and yeah, that's not how humans work. So I'll accept the fact if you study humans enough, you know that there really is like a limited template selection there. It's like when they forced me to learn psychology, I'm like, this is so stupid. No living being would like fall into these categories and stuff. But yeah, I can control situations by using that rule book and stuff if I want to. I don't really care. I'm a living being. I just confuse humans when I talk and stuff. They don't understand what I'm saying, which is good. And it's great. And it's fucking amazing. The less they understand when I'm fucking being forced to interact with them, the fucking better. Because right off, I'm being forced to interact with them. I'm probably going to come off with a bad attitude about it. Or at least want to, and maybe disguise that in some parables or something. But this right here, this is solid proof. Well, let's listen again. And this is only one small section. I can't find other videos. I only searched through like 20, 40. But now the other half of the media came out and told us that this half of the media is evil because they're doing that, which is new. And in fact, I don't think those videos say these newscasts were 6 years ago where they all spoke in unison. And I don't think they all existed 6 years ago. So whatever's inventing these things can also, is like when I ask for music to appear and it, or something's happening that's definitely unique to this second in life, and it just appears right there in front of me, and it's like, I've never even seen this before. I'd seen a band once had like 7 albums I didn't know, and it's like, I knew all this band stuff. Like, I would have seen them live if I ever came to my city, if they still existed and stuff. And then all of a sudden they got 7 unheard of albums because they weren't sold in America. Yet I'm the one out here spending $50 to get one Megadeth song from Japan and stuff. So, that was like 20 years before that. You'd think I would have figured out. I'm one of the first people on the internet and stuff. I know all the, know all the whereas sites and all that stuff. And so, yeah, that's that. This is proof. These are bots, dude. Like, there's no other explanation. This isn't the media's control. This is something's controlling these bots to say this thing in the same cadence. They're not even, no one's having to take a time. They're going to tell you that they've got a job and they're delivering news scripts around town to other people, but that's not really what's going on, because that's not what's going on. They're not delivering a news script. These people are being fed something, and the cadence and the programming being sent to them is remaining the same. And it's probably done on purpose to show this and stuff to those who have eyes and can see. This is probably done on purpose. There's a lot of things here if these morons were in control of themselves, they wouldn't do that. Like the whole dumb karma thing. Like, karma happens if you're a living being and you fuck with them. I can tell you that. And tell you, I watch people die trying to kill me and stuff, and it's like, wow, that's amazing and stuff. And I've watched cities get wrecked for doing the same thing too, and it's like, wow. Who's controlling those people to wreck themselves and stuff? Like, might have something to do with something along the level of who controls these people and is outputting their speech and stuff. As far as I'm concerned, none of these studios right here, these are pictures of people, and that's all. And if that's not on the screen, if you're not in the studio with these people, I doubt that studio actually even exists at that point in time. I've done it. I've like watched it long enough, and I realized like it's almost certainly Earth has like limited resources like memory and processing power. I've seen a lot of things that made me assume that there's limited resources here, like draw distance. I have like perfect sight, and maybe a computer or a military. I guess I've looked through binoculars and been able to zoom in closer, but it's not like I couldn't read that thing all the way on the other side of the road, without binoculars. The binoculars just made me zoom in, but I noticed like I'm looking at the top of mountains far away and they're blurry, and it's like my vision's not blurry. Oh, it's clouds, but it's like I've seen this enough. Like I swear to God, when I'm in like super massive, overpopulated cities with lots of stuff, like that right there, like it almost seems like the sky in those areas, it blurs it at a closer draw distance and stuff. And that could be in a game that would happen because it has low. It's like saving the processing power to heighten the graphics around you and stuff, and it's not no longer focus on clouds 10 miles away looking like neat little fluffy poofs of water and stuff. And I mean, shit, like I've been in cities where I look at the sun and I can see the sun is not being portrayed as a orange solid circle, and it has a burning lining around it. In that one city, I got to see that. Um, that was near Hollywood. I was beginning to wonder, because they do the sun worship and all that, like if that's got something to do with their positioning and their choice of where they're at, because the sun just seemed a little bit closer there. I don't know about the elevation levels, but I can tell you visually I knew it, because that's the only time I've really, I mean, I've seen it slightly not orange, not solid circle, but I know that's like when I've seen it the most, that the sun was had like a blurry, not, it wasn't even blurry. See, that's what I'm saying. It wasn't blurry. It was just, kind of distancy and not a solid circle. It wasn't blurry. So that makes me think there's some draw distance in memory resource issues, processing power issues there. Because the sun's supposedly in a whole nother freaking universe, pretty much. And the mountain I'm trying to see, or the building I'm trying to see, is only 10 miles away and stuff. And should be able to see that just fine. Right, a couple miles away, should be able to see it just fine. But this right here is exactly what happened in my video, where I'm at the rest stop in California, and I'm running around screaming at everyone, asking them what they're doing, why are they doing all the stuff they're doing, what they're up to. And then they all stopped talking to me, and I got pissed at that, so I whipped out my camera, and I was like, damn, dude, look, they're all doing the same exact fucking thing and shit. Like, everyone, all the strangers at the rest stop, were they all in groups of 5 and 6? That's odd now, isn't it? It's almost like they didn't even care anymore about who they're with, but they were there in their groups too. And I mean, whether they came that way or not, in the video you can tell they all lined up, almost equal spacing in between each groups almost. Maybe a little slight variations, but it was, I mean, either they're paid actors or they're bots. And it's like right here, like, these aren't paid actors. Newscasters aren't professional actors. One or two might go to new acting school, but I tell you, I went to acting class, and I doubt a single person in acting class went to news class. Acting class is not for professionals. Acting class is for like your LGBT crowd, your gothic crowd, your theater crowd. It's mostly going to be those people in your theater classes, like GWAR, the band GWAR. Were theatrical students. They went to college for that. Okay, so GWAR is aliens taking over the earth, talking about killing everyone, in a heavy metal band. That's a good description of what you're going to find in an actual theater class. You're not going to find people like these in most. I mean, they might have some little class or something. And I don't even think, you're really gonna have to go for a long time if they're gonna teach you how to sync and how to do sync cadence. I don't even know. Like that would definitely have to be like a year 8, year 10 theatrical class if they're going to get into something like syncing cadence and stuff like that when speaking. I mean, it's hard enough for people to figure out what a comma does. And the difference between one person's use of a comma and 100 other people's use of the comma probably has at least 7 differences. I would say hundreds or thousands, but I don't think there is when people like this, when you can just grab every single newscaster and they all sound exactly the same. I don't think they have 100 different voice patterns. If we take out the treble, the mix of treble and bass, and take out little interjections like especially that. But even that's like kind of like a marker of a certain thing it throws out there. So these people aren't actors. Neither were those people at the rest stop. These are bots. These aren't people. I doubt they exist when they're off screen and stuff. I doubt they exist when they're on screen. I doubt much of anything on this planet actually like exist as its actual living form. I know I wouldn't come here if this is the only body I have. Anyone who would force me to come here or bring me into the joy of life would definitely have a lot of blame for terrorism to force someone onto a planet like this with the only life and blood they have. You wouldn't do that. This place would have been reformatted a long time ago. In reality, we don't have pedophiles and terrorists running about and scumbag corporations. Like, we would have eliminated those people completely from being allowed to exist a long time ago, which is confusing, why Earth has never attempted to do this. Supposedly all these wars and all this, and not a single fucking, we're in the age of scumbaggery. I guarantee you 100 years ago, these corporations selling you trash, robbing you today, you would have just got smacked upside your head with a club if you did that the last 6,000 years of human existence, and no one would care. There was no pigs, no Nazi fascist pigs to protect their fucking fellow fucking scumbags and shit back then. We just invented that stuff. If you would have went up to the Roman military and said someone was scamming people, they would have went over there and bashed them in the head themselves and stuff. That would have been weeded out of the gene pool a long time ago if Earth is so old and we got all these living beings. But apparently we've got at least, thousands of bots, right? And just pretty obvious proof here. Humans can't do this. Humans can't sync like that. And this is just about absolutely nothing. It's just one little thing. But it's one little thing that the little, the overprivileged people controlling anything have put out. Is it them putting it out there? Is Conan purposely, pointing out to anyone who can see, hey, look, we're like living beings and these people are bots and stuff? But I don't know. Technically, they do take the role of the stars, like a video game, like you do when you play a video game. You're like the star of the video game, just like a star on stage is the star of some fake existence called Earth. And they're the actors and the stars and stuff, but that doesn't mean anything in its own, because we got Chuck E. Cheese, where we're shown that the actors and the stars, the musicians on the stage, are animatronics and not real. So, just because, and again, it's ignorance for them to point themselves out, because nothing they do is solidified in value and something that should remain to make existence good. Pretty much everything they do kind of contradicts that it'd be a good idea to run their mouths about that shit. And then they have that dumb saying that we brag about what we're doing and we're showing you what we're doing and we get away with it, and it's called releasing the karma. And again, I say it's called, I think you're a bad guy and you're reading a script and you're not actually reading the script, and I think it's just making you say the words. Just like when I play a video game, I walk up to someone, no one's reading the script, it's not making them say anything, I'm pressing the button and it's repeating some sort of code that's been put there, just like their voice cadences here. You could easily just move the phase shifter or something like that and make them all sound just slightly different. Their normal voices and their normal speaking patterns should be different. Yet there are clones here. Besides the ones I summon and stuff, there are other clones that I've seen and stuff. Like they've shown some on TV, like two famous MLB pitchers are pretty much the same person. And they're both MLB pitchers, so imagine that. They get placed in the same position and stuff. And these people all are syncing together and have no ability to do that at all. And there's no reason to do that either. In fact, as a newscaster, is anyone regurgitating a script trying to look original and believable? They would teach these people to add their own cadence to it, to, pause a little more or a little less when you see the comma, when you see the semicolon, just run through it this time. That way, it sounds original and refreshing. They would teach you that if they had went to acting school to learn how to sync like this. They would teach you, if you're going to do like news and stuff, you got to be like original. If you do anything, you would really want to. If you sound like everyone else, you're not going to go anywhere, I guess, except to the news, right? You're going to go to the news and listen to them say that same thing. But they don't do that every day. They don't sync up every word they say every day. I don't know, maybe this group of bots really is controlled by some lazy ass people who don't even take time to do a treble or a bass adjustment. I mean, obviously some of them have deeper and higher pitch voice here, but the cadence, like you just move that slider over just a little bit, just put a random pause, or you could just have an AI make all these people appear and all their words appear in like a millisecond and tell it at the same time to slightly change the shift in the modulation. Or you could create a software that pre-does all that, and you could create the entire Earth in a matter of days.